What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I am here with my review for Final Destination Bloodlines. And if you have not seen this movie yet, come on back, because there will be spoilers. Thank you to everybody who's been following along on the channel, man. I've been trying to put more and more things up here, more reactions, more reviews, more going lives, all these different things. And for everybody who's been a part of the journey thus far, since we've ramped it up here, I appreciate y'all. I'm hoping to do just bigger and better. I want to be able to expand this out. I'm trying to do something where I'm almost like doing the reviews, but I want you to have like visual aids, all that shit, and I got to get to all the editing and all that stuff. But man, thank y'all and everybody who has supported the GoFundMe as I heal up from my spinal surgery. It has been a mentally taxing thing, and having to be down and not be able to do every single thing you want to do. But to those who have supported and those who have been there, whether it be a kind word, a text, a DM, like I said, even donate to the GoFundMe, I am extremely grateful. To people who are a member of the Supervillain Squad on Patreon, I did not notice that I had a couple of one-on-one with the Supervillains tiered members. So I'm going to set those up ASAP. Please blame my head, not my heart. All right, let's get into it. I have been a fan of this franchise since the beginning. And yes, this franchise has tormented and terrified the shit out of me. I am part of an entire generation that will not drive behind a truck on the freeway with logs on it. Part of an entire generation, okay? I was skeptical, like I always said. I was skeptical of getting on roller coasters, airplanes. You ain't gonna catch my black ass at a NASCAR racing event, so we're good on that. Even driving over bridges. But to say all that to say, I say all that to say, this movie brings you back to what you love about the franchise. So people who love the jump scares, the crazy ways people die, I hate to say it like that, and everything of what the story is, it gives you all this and then some. And it breaks its own rules, but it's a reason it breaks the rules. Because we I think we've seen online the sequence of what looks to be like the Space Needle. But it's called the Skyview, I believe it is. Let me make sure I pull the name of it. It's called the Skyview Restaurant Tower. So it looks like the Space Needle in Seattle. And there's a young woman named Iris, and she goes with her boyfriend at the time, Paul, and they go up there, and this is when Iris has the premonition of the glass breaking, everybody dying, etc., etc. So the normal way a Final Destination movie will start, right? We always know there's the massive casualty that you see, that many people die. And the person who's having that premonition wakes up, snaps out of it, and then saves the people from going on, and then the situation happens. Well, what we see in this is after the premonition happens, a young girl in college wakes up in class screaming. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Now, if you see through the trailers, of course, you find out it's because of family. The family wasn't supposed to exist. And come to find out, the girl is the granddaughter of the woman who had the premonition. So she started seeing her grandmother's premonition. She was dreaming about her grandmother's premonition multiple times, which again, this breaks the rules a little bit, because now the girl, Stephanie, that we follow, she is trying to like help her family out. Like, oh shit. Come to find out when she meets her grandmother, like, yo, her grandma was like, hey, here's the problem. Because it's 1968, and I saved a bunch of people who ended up getting off the Skyview and who didn't die. They ended up having families and had kids who were not supposed to exist. So death was as we always find out, even in like Final Destination 2, death comes back to get people he was supposed to get. And it's crazy because she has this giant map of people, who've died in these strange, mysterious ways. And she starts mapping it. The grandmother has mapped it out where people have died in the way they were supposed to die. And you're like, oh, shit. And so the girl finds out, yeah, hey, the family gonna die. And the only people that's safe in the family from dying are my aunt by marriage and my father, because they're not a part of the direct bloodline, which is crazy. Now, of course, the father's like, bitch, you little girl, you gone crazy. This ain't real. Your grandmama was crazy. You drove your mama crazy, because mom was estranged. And to watch how everything plays out, when I I don't know how much I want to spoil some of these deaths because if you watch the trailers, we saw the situation with the dude with the tattoo shop when the chain goes in his nose ring and things like that. We've seen the opening sequence. We've seen the barbecue scene where there's glass in the ice and then the glass in the ground and the lawnmower takes the guy out, and you've seen those sequences. But there are other death sequences in there where you're just like, holy shit. And again, it's those small things you remember in this whole franchise of how death will take the smallest. Death is a petty bitch and will take the smallest thing to lead it to a giant chain reaction, if you will. One of the most touching things for me, and I think anyone else who was a fan of this man, is seeing Tony Todd. Now, if you don't know, Tony Todd passed away last year in September. He passed away due to cancer, and in November 2024. And he filmed all his scenes. He reprised his role as William Bloodworth. You know him as the caretaker, the Undertaker. He knows all about death and things like that. And you find out in this movie the reason he knows about death. You find out because a lot of people thought he was death itself, but in this film, it gives a lot of closure to his character as to why he is so familiar with death and why and how death works the way it does. And as a Tony Todd fan, I am grateful that he got his send-off, but it is also so sad because you can see he only had a little bit of life left at the time of him filming. And he talks about it. He even says at one point, death comes for everybody. It's him having his moment of closure, him talking about it all. And it's very touching, because he understands, even though he's talking about the characters in the film, he's talking about life itself with him, being at the point where he was in life. Now, one of the things he did bring up is a lot of the rules from the other films as well played a role. He brought up Kimberly from Final Destination 2, where he talked about the way you can stop death's cycle, because he brought up the rules. One, you can take a life and you'll get the person's years who had that life, right? But you don't know how long they had. See Final Destination 5, my boy Arlen, who's in it, Arlen Escapado, who's in it. He was black dude who caught, that was the homie. He was like, yo, you made it, bro. And then he died. And it was like, well, bro, I thought you had a chance. But also, if you die and are brought back to life, you negate death's list with you. And so that's brought back, and it plays a big point towards the end, because it's kind of you have a repeat circumstance. I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to spoil too much of it. But what happens is not what you think happens. And oh my God, does it come back. Death will make a way no matter what. And it is crazy because it's like you watch this whole family who knows that, like, listen, no matter what we do, unfortunately, we're going to die. And at one point, you have a couple of characters who they're in a hospital. And they're like, well, you heard what the guy said, which is Tony Todd's character, that if we take a life, you get their years. And they're in a hospital, and they go past a nursery. And they're like, nah, man, we're not going to touch them babies. Nope, no one would touch those babies. Because you're like, a baby has a full life is what you think, but you don't. Again, you never know. Shouts out to my homeboy Ryan Nemeth. His girlfriend Anna Laura's in here. And Anna plays Julia. And she is hilarious because it's parts where it's like, you feel for her, but when she goes, you're like, oh, shit. And I think that's the one thing anyone wants. If you're ever in a horror film, you want your death to be extravagant and be memorable. And Anna's death in here is, because again, everybody damn near dies. It's Final Destination. The odds of some, that's not really a spoiler. That's what we know about it. The odds of people living. I think the biggest thing for me with this one is the creators and the directors and writers, every time you do this, you're upping the ante of what type of death what type of deaths are you going to make happen? What new ways are you going to traumatize people? And I think I have officially found 2 new ways that I am traumatized as shit. And the problem is, one of the ways is a machine that I have been involved with, if you will say, an MRI machine, a magnetic resonance imaging machine. What this MRI machine does, you're like, oh my God, it is. But there's so much more. And again, I'm watching the very beginning of it, going back to the beginning and the premonition that kicks it all off. I'm not dancing on shit that has a glass floor that I can see 96 stories all the fucking. Kiss my ass. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't like to be in elevators that I can see outside. Yes, I fly a lot for when I travel for stand-up or other things, whether it be acting or hosting panels for Comic-Cons and stuff like that. I travel a lot. I don't look out the fucking window when we taking off. The only time I look out the window is when we finally been in the air for a little bit of time and we in the clouds. I'm like, oh, this looks pretty peaceful up here. This is beautiful. But when we taking off, I'm in that bitch like this. Father God, please, thank you for another day. Cover me in your angels' wings. And here we go, Father Jesus. Okay, we're going up. And that's how my eyes are tight. But if you are a horror movie fan and you want to have some fun and you want to have a hell of a lot of jump scares, I'm telling you, this is going to be the movie. This is going to be one of them. Again, I've seen the Final Destination series multiple times, so I can see myself going to see this movie again with a group of people. Because I was sitting by myself, and there were people next to me, like 2 seats down, which I was like, yo, y'all couldn't have picked an extra seat. Like, move for now. It is what it is. But, like, you could hear people jumping. You could hear me a whole bunch of times go, damn! A lot. This cast is amazing. And that's one of the things I love about this cast. It doesn't have to be all super famous people, if that makes sense. It doesn't have to be a bunch of A-list stars, with no disrespect to anyone who's cast in this film. It's this cast gives you what you're expecting. Now, there's the dad is a little bit, I kind of was like, all right, bro. Who played the dad? I'm looking for the dad's name. Brother, mother. Where's the father? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Reyes. Okay, that's who it was. Yeah, I was like, he was okay. He got on my nerves a lot. Like, he got on my nerves sometimes. I'm like, yo, if you don't sit down and shut the fuck up. Again, I know it's a movie, but I love when I have a character in a film or TV show who invokes emotion out of your boy like that. Because now that lets me know I'm hella invested. Let me tell you what annoyed me throughout this whole movie. And this isn't anything with the film. This is probably something a lot of people watching this have experienced. And if you have, let me know. Motherfuckers who go to a movie theater to see a movie who do not turn their phones on silent. 7 different people's phones went off during the movie. If you don't put that goddamn phone on vibrate, what's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with you? Get your shit together. I digress. Overall, I'll say this. If you're a horror movie fan, go see it. I know somebody close to me won't go see it. Namely, my Blurs in the Hood co-host. One of my best friends in life. My brother, Winston A. Marshall. He won't go see it. I can't pay him. We did a trailer reaction to some horror movie a while ago, and he lost his shit, and he won't go see a horror movie. Now maybe y'all can help me persuade him to go, so we can get a whole feel, see how you feel about it. But he ain't gonna go. But if you are a horror fan, and if you like the jump scares, and you know what this franchise is, you also need to know it gets gory. It's certain times it's just like when some damn shit happen, you know what's about to happen, and when it happens, you're like, God damn. But if this is what you want, if this is what you like, I say go see it. All right, if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm giving this joint, for me, 4.5 stars. I don't get that much of 5 anyway, so 4.5 stars. Like I said, the cast is amazing. It does tie itself into the other films, in the whole franchise. Also, this is a thing that a lot of us have begun to do. Before I get up out of here. A lot of us and this is just people in general. We've become so conditioned, if you will. We try to wait and see if there's gonna be a fucking post-credit scene. Ain't no post-credit scenes with Final Destinations. Death done done what Death gonna do, and that's all I'll say about that. But I want to know if you've seen it already. Let me know what you think down in those comments below. All right, keep it civil, y'all. Keep it civil. Excuse me. Like, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you can find out when I'm dropping more videos. I'm dropping a lot more videos here on the channel. I'm trying to say as much updated and as for it. I can't run around the streets and be standing up and doing stand up. I'm gonna try to put as much content as I can out here for y'all. Follow me on social media. That is on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitter. It's my name on Twitter. I'm calling them Twitter. All of those at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Join my supervillain squad on Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Every Thursday, I put up my wrestling news. I do a wrestling talk. BC, my co-host of the Mad Titan podcast, which I'll bring up in a second, was there with me. BC has his BC's bullshit. He talks about his own things on there. And I also do other nerdly news. And the reason I do other nerdly news is because I also host the Mad Titan podcast, where you can get everywhere you get podcasts from. And I get you, me and BC get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. It's barbershop talk for nerds. Come on in the convo. And again, if you want to support my GoFundMe as I heal from this spinal surgery, the link is in the bio. No pressure, but just I know some people have asked. I even got a DM earlier today. Hey, what's the link to your GoFundMe? And I just sent it to him, and I was shocked and I was grateful. So that's that. If you're in Dallas, Texas, on June the 8th, Dallas, Texas, I'm coming your way, headlining at the Dallas Comedy Club, one night only, Sunday, June 8th, 8:30 p.m. local time in Dallas. I'm bringing my hilarious homegirl Maddie Mays with me, and the homeboy Sid Williams. It's going to be a great time. I encourage. I think this is about to sell out almost, so you might want to hurry and grab your tickets for that. San Diego Comic-Con, I will be there. So we're getting that set up right now. Bozeman, Montana, I'm coming to you in October. Working on getting back home to Chicago for some dates and everything else. Holla at y'all later. Till then, I'm out.